Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Otaku Go here on the Gunpla Network. As always, I'm the Spicer and today's review of the Taito Precious Figure Rim Jumper Swimsuit version renewal prize figure comes to you courtesy of those fine folks over at Chi-Chi's Anime. Chi-Chi's Anime is an online retailer that also frequents cons here in the US with a variety of options online, as well as some exclusives for con goers. You can check out their con schedule on their website at chichisAnime.com on the bottom of the page. With such a variety, they're going to have just about anything you're looking for. And when you're checking out their website and placing your next order, don't forget to use the promo code GUNPLA10 to save yourself 10% off. Now, in terms of the box, once again, not a box guy, but, we got to talk about the box at least a little bit. It is a kind of cute theme. It's a bunch of kind of generic swimming, beachy, ocean, nautical vibes, and yeah, it fits the vibe. The swimsuit, the beach theme, the having the kind of Subaru style jacket there. It's very laid back, and the box communicates this. You have a nice blue, you have a nice yellow, fairly complimentary to Rim herself. And then you have pictures of the figurine pretty much all across the box. So, it's not a plastic window, but it's a good representation and pretty on par with most of what you're going to find out there on the prize figure market. Now, in terms of the figurine herself, the thing we're actually here to talk about, it's a good representation of Rim. I've got a couple of different Rim figures myself. Not a huge ReZero fan, but Rim is like the 02 of her age, the waifu that gets a bunch of different figurines regardless of kind of what's happening in the anime world. And this is one of them. Now, of course, this is a lot more tied into the show. It's not necessarily themed to like the Arabian Nights version or the Taito Station or arcade version, but we do get to see a good representation. You have the Subaru style jacket there, that's nice. The colors on the jacket, the shorts, and the bikini match, as well as her bow. And then her shoes are pretty similar as well. Outside of that, though, everything else is pretty much skin and hair. And this, much like a lot of other prize figures, is going to be a little glossy. Now, of course, they do this to make a distinction between the body and the clothing. That's just, once again, kind of the way it goes. It's to be expected with something like this. But it is nice when you have something like this jacket that's really textured, and we'll look at that more in a minute, to contrast it, right? It's not just blank plastic. There's texture there. You can see it. There's a bunch of wrinkling. There's a lot of sculpt work. So while this isn't visually the most flashy figurine, there's still a lot of work there that can be appreciated. And if you're a ReZero fan or you just like collecting figures, you're probably going to have another Rim on your shelf, to be honest, and this one will go right along with it. Now, as we take a look at the top half of the figurine here, we see the orange bow, which is placing a red bow, if I'm correct, normally for Rim's designs. A lot of them do obviously change with whatever the figurine is, but this one's orange to match the orange accents on the jacket, the bikini, all that. That goes into her pink ribbons in her blue hair. That fades into a gradient, a kind of clear gradient down around the eyes, but only on the front part of the hair. The back is not going to have that same thing. A little bit of a, be nice to have consistency, but at the same time, you're not looking at this figurine from the back, so take it that as you will. The face is a little bit glossier, especially compared to the upper torso, but it's not bad. It's really only in certain types of light you'll notice it, but the eye you do get to see is very nicely done. Her mouth has a little bit of color there, so it doesn't just look flat, it does have a little bit of depth there. And yeah, overall the head's a pretty nice sculpt, it's a pretty good paint job. The paint in the hair, or kind of the gradient of the plastic rather, is quite nice as well. Now, the upper torso here, you get a lot of sculpting work on the top of the jacket. You see some coloration on the inside of the jacket, which is also quite nice. You see a little bit of silver outlining there on the front. So you have the zipper, pretty standard fare, but once again, it would be noticeable if it wasn't there. Then you have the bikini top, with the orange accent line down the fronts. Looks good. Once again, more of a matte here to distinguish it from the skin, much like the jacket. Not as textured as the jacket, and that would have been kind of cool to see, but, once again, it's a prize figure. We're really not aiming for the moon here. But yeah, it is complimentary, it looks nice, and it goes well with the jacket. But legitimately, the jacket, as we move down here, is probably the most visually impressive thing. Now, I know as a waifu figurine, people are getting it because they like Rim, or even if they've never seen the show, they just like the character design. But, a lot of these swimsuit designs, they have something, right? Whether it's an umbrella, or some kind of inner tube, like with the Miku we looked at previously. This is just the jacket, but they make sure to put the work in. There's a lot of scrunching on the sleeves. The orange paint is consistent over the black. You do have a little bit of gapping on the back, but it's not super noticeable. Once again, prize figure, little paint mistakes like that can happen from time to time. The white goes around very nice. It's a very crisp difference between most of the coloration there. But yeah, it's just the sculpt. It really feels like it's moving. And yes, I understand it's a jacket. Maybe it's not that impressive to some people. But I think if you've been collecting figures long enough, you can look at this and say, that's actually pretty impressive. Not super flashy, but you can tell a lot of work was put into it. Now, in terms of the shorts, kind of the same deal here. They're, not going to be the signature part of the figurine. They're really not even as textured as the jacket, but they do provide a good distinguishing kind of accent to the bikini bottoms that you see underneath. Now, it does hide a lot of those between the jacket, and I think that's kind of part of the design. I think the plastic kind of gets a little soft in there, is some things bumping, with the little strings tied on the side. But, it's not bad, right? It's just something kind of notice with a lot going on there in the hips. Things are going to bump into each other. Not the end of the world. It's not super noticeable, but, it's a review. I got to point these things out. But yeah, outside of that, the bottoms, kind of the waist, it's good. You have the orange accents. You have the kind of white upper lining of the bikini bottoms going into the orange of the actual bottoms themselves. And then you go down to the shoes, and, the legs, there's not much to write home about because it's the rest of the figurine. It's a glossy leg. There is some sculpting kind of on the back and the front of the knee, but that's about it. And then you have the shoes, which are, once again, staying in theme with the rest of the color scheme here, black and orange. You do get a little design on the base, but it's not, really super beachy theme, which, I understand, Rim, you're not necessarily going to do that for every one of her swimsuit figures, but it would have been cool to match something with the box using some of those bright colors, at least kind of make the stand out a little bit. But once again, it's a stand. It's going to be on the bottom of your shelf. You're really not going to notice it all that often. So overall, pretty nice. Now, stacking her up against probably one of my favorite Rim figures, largely, once again, because of texturing. This is not, neither of these are visually this very elaborate thing, right? There's no really crazy clear plastics here and there. There's nothing over the top. But the jacket and the denim uniform for both of these are really nicely textured, and you can see it from a distance, which is really what makes these stand out, is what draws your eye to it. And I think there's a lot of appreciation that can go into that, which is why I wanted to compare these two in particular. So if you do have other Rim figures, she's going to fit in quite well. She's kind of a good in-between. She's not fully themed like this one or the Arabian Nights one, but she's also not just her normal maid uniform. It's a little bit of both, and this is something, it's like, you could kind of see this if there was a beach episode of ReZero, which there may be, I'm not going to lie. Like I said, haven't really watched a lot of the show, but it is something that feels a little bit more in universe, so you don't feel as kind of taken out of it. And yeah, if you're a fan of ReZero, I think you're going to like this. If you're a fan of Rim or just waifu figures in general, This is another one you're going to like as well, and you probably have some Rim figures, so it's going to go nicely with them. But other than that, I have to say, if you like waifu figures, if you like Rim, if you like ReZero, or you can just really appreciate some nice texturing and sculpting, this is a figurine to look into. Once again, you can go find that over at Chi-Chi's Anime as well. But if you have any questions about it, pop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. And of course, if you have this and you want to put your opinion out there, we're more than happy to read it and interact with it. Anyway, I've been Cody here for the Gunpla Network. Thanks for sticking around. Do your best to stay safe and keep on collecting.